And welcome to another edition of Nights Around the Fire, Canonsburg's #1 podcast for cryptid and paranormal information. We're glad you can join us. Again, I have Sue Taylor here, one of our researchers. We have a great topic tonight, and I know you'll enjoy it. What is it, Sue?
We're going to talk about the Mari Lwyd tonight because it's a Welsh tradition that's usually around the holidays, and we're just about, yesterday was Epiphany, so we're still close enough to the holidays time that we can talk about this.
Okay, so you're talking it's a holiday.
Yes.
Okay, so wait a minute. It's like a Christmas holiday, or it's now basically celebrated over Christmas?
Yeah, it's another one of those old traditions that people have started doing again, and it's evolved into meaning good luck. So if you participate in this Mari Lwyd tradition, it's supposed to bring good luck.
Wow, okay. So how old is it?
It's another one of those pre-Christianity pagan traditions that goes so far back that nobody wrote it down, probably because they didn't know how to write it down.
Like Krampus?
Yes. Yeah, it would go along the same pages as Krampus.
Okay, so staying with the basically pre-Christian festivals, we're talking about quite a few years ago, and of course, the very, 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 very dark ages.
Yes, yes.
So they needed good luck.
They needed good luck, and it's another thing that if you think about it, the world dies in the winter and it comes back to life in the spring. So that's we see that in a lot of traditions, and this is another one that was very popular in that time because you think the prime why can't I think of a word tonight? The prime source of income, for lack of a better expression, at that time was farming. So they couldn't farm at this time. So they were following the older traditions, the older holidays, and this is one of them that, one, they wanted to bring good luck, and two, they wanted to scare off the evil spirits. And that's even in the Native American traditions, where the Native Americans wore the headdresses and the masks and did the dances to scare off the evil.
Wow. Okay, so this is a common theme. This is reverse of Krampus, of course.
Yes, yes.
But it's a common theme. The winter, the solstice in December, darkness and cold. And of course, when you're talking pagan days and pagan times, you're talking very dark.
Yes.
I mean, folks, when I go outside and drive down a street and there's a little bit of light, it seems dark to me, but we're talking fears then kind of breed in the human psyche because what's in the dark.
And you and I both like zombies and like apocalyptic stuff like that. And I don't know if you do this, I sometimes stand in my house and I think to myself, like, what if there was absolutely no light? Like, what if the power was just out and that was that, and there was just nothing? Like, the town didn't have any power, the surrounding areas didn't have any power. How dark would it be? Because I don't think any of us, even in the longest power outage that you can think of, I don't think any of us truly understand what it would be like to live in a world that had absolutely no regular light source.
Yes, absolutely. I have thought of this myself. What would you do if the world as we know it changed?
Right.
Power outages. EMP takes all the power down. How would we survive? I mean, we live by light. We can actually function at night because of light, right? So
we're not going to bed. Like, you think about it, in past times, I get off work at 5 o'clock because I can. If this was the dark ages, we'd be getting off work at probably 3 o'clock because that's when the light started to fail, and would probably go to bed at 5 o'clock because that's when it got dark.
That's true. And I think you mentioned Sue came over here to the studio and it's 6:30, and she said, I can't go over to Dave and Cindy's house because it's pitch dark, but it's only 6:30.
6:30 at night, and I live exactly 3 minutes from your house, I believe.
Right. So we can imagine today how we feel with this this syndrome with not having enough light. There is a name for that, I think.
And it's a big psychological thing.
Right.
And I will tell you, and I will tell everybody else, the time does not change until like the end of March, beginning of April. So we're in this for a while, folks.
Right. There is a minute a day lighter, right?
Yes.
Minute a day.
Yes.
Okay, so going back to that theme, Sue, I know, we being paranormal people, legends, mysteries, and myths. By the way, please, if you enjoy our content, consider subscribing to our channel, squashing that like button, and sharing the video. Help us out there. Thank you. Okay, so we're buffs on that, and you've been, and I've been for a very long time. So right off the bat, we think of things that go bump in the night.
And we talked to our friend Ken about that one time, and Ken said it's not like everybody thinks about paranormal stuff as being active at night, and it's not that you have to go paranormal hunting at night because that's when they're active. That's when it's quiet. There's not as many people out, so you can actually hear and do your thing.
Yeah, your brain settles down and your mind settles down, and you are able to focus. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I understand that. So I'm going to get off the reservation here. Mari Lwyd, they obviously said to chase away evil spirits.
Yes.
Okay, what evil spirits did they believe existed? I mean, I know that's a big question, but when being who we are, there could be anything, and we don't know that far back, right?
Well, you could have had an evil spirit that poisoned your crops. You could have had an evil spirit that brought death to your house. Like, you didn't want to get people sick, so you had to get rid of that evil spirit that was going to bring the plague and the disease to your village.
So we're looking along the lines of the Druid holiday we call Halloween. Hand out candy to the spirits or foods.
Samhain, and there is a connection. So there's a couple of connections with the Mari Lwyd to Samhain. And I'm going to skim through my notes here very quickly to find it. There's no historical evidence of this actually. It's believed to be tied to the midwinter life, rebirth, death aspect, but there's no historical documentation of this. So it's something that scholars believe, but it's not necessarily one. But it is tied to that Halloween aspect of Samhain, and there's another aspect of the Mari Lwyd party that goes along with what we know as Halloween today.
And that is?
We're not going to get there yet.
Okay.
We're going to have to wait.
We're not going to jump the shark here right now.
Or the skull horse.
Or the skull horse. Okay, so what things did they do for this celebration that they've brought back that they're doing now?
So let's talk about what the Mari Lwyd is. So the Mari Lwyd, there are some people who believe that the Mary part of it comes from the Virgin Mary. And it's possible, but you have to think about the fact that we're dealing with something that's pre-Christian. So when this tradition was created, that wasn't something that these people knew. So it's more believed that we call it the Mari Lwyd because Mary is a form of mare, which is a female horse, and Lwyd is the Welsh word for gray. There is also an Irish version of this, and I'm going to make sure that I say it correctly. I'm not going to say it correctly, but I want to make sure I have the right words. It is Lorraine Vane, which means white mare in Celtic.
So it's white mare in Celtic and gray mare.
Gray mare Mari Lwyd in
Welsh.
Welsh, yes.
Did you catch that? So these aren't connected, but they are.
Yes. And it's a very popular thing in the United Kingdom. So that little area of England, Wales, Scotland, Ireland, there's a lot of this rooted in that area.
So, and that's where folklore really still exists today in those areas.
We're going to get into that. We're going to talk about fairies and banshees, and we're going to talk about all that fun stuff as we start rolling into spring here.
Okay, so Mari Lwyd, so then they would dress up horses?
No. So, okay, look at my shirt for a second. I am wearing a Wendigo, but let's take his little antlers off here for a second. And what do you basically just have there?
Looks like a horse.
Yes. So
with some sharp teeth.
Yes. So basically what a Mari Lwyd is it would be a horse skull, and they would put it on a stick, and they would decorate the skull. Like sometimes they would put eyes in the eye sockets. They would put garland on it, like Christmas baubles, like holly, like some sort of decorations on the skull. And then, so they have this on a stick, and then they put a sheet over the person underneath it, so the person can hold the Mari Lwyd on a stick.
There's so much I could say about that, because we have that today with those horses on sticks.
Okay,
People underneath sheets with horse heads.
I was just going to bring that up to you. Were you planning on buying your new grandson a hobby horse?
There's one upstairs now.
There you go. See? So you're giving him a version of the Mari Lwyd. It's just a less creepy one.
Less creepy. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of terrifying. The fact that we're dealing with, like, again, dead things.
Yeah. And again, you want to scare off the evil spirits. You've got
A scary horse.
Yeah, you got a scary horse that's going to scare them away. And the one author that I read who had been to one of these Mari Lwyd festivals that they are now holding in Wales again, because this is something, we'll talk about why it went away and it came back, but it is something that's had a resurgence in the last few years.
Sort of like Krampus.
Yeah.
Again, we just did a video on Krampus, friends. If you have not watched it, please go to our channel, Nights Around the Fire. Check it out, because I think what Sue's mentioning here, there's a connection. Even though you're dealing with different regions of Europe, there really weren't different regions of Europe as far as states back 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 years ago. So this probably traveled through word of mouth, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, you've had similar kind of celebrations named differently.
And people were moving between those areas. So they would leave one country and move to the other, and they would take that tradition with them. And it would just, you think about how old these traditions are, they've just evolved that far over the years.
Okay, so they would then have a fair, a celebration of some kind?
So here's where it gets really fun. The Mari Lwyd, remember, the person has the sheet on, they're holding the horse's head on a stick. They have a handler, and the handler is extremely well dressed. So like somebody in a top hat, full tails, that type of thing. And they go around the village, and they go up to the doors of the houses, and they on the doors. And from there, they engage in a pwenco. Did I say that right?
I think so.
Close enough. It's Pwnco. It is a Welsh word. And what that is a sing-song, clapping, rhyming game where the Mari Lwyd is asking for permission to enter the house, and the homeowner is coming up with reasons not to let the Mari Lwyd in. And if the Mari Lwyd wins the pwenco and gets into the house, the homeowner has to provide the Mari Lwyd and their party with food and drink.
Wow.
Now, you mentioned Halloween.
Yes.
Does that sound like anything that we do in Halloween?
No.
Doesn't sound like anything to you?
Well, we have trick or treat.
There you go.
Okay,
there you go.
I mean,
there you go.
I don't let the kids in and sit them table and give them liquor and steak, but candy.
They come to your door and they're wearing a costume and they say trick or treat, and you say, okay, treat, no trick, and you give them candy.
There's something so off about that. Is that the same type of thing they do in basically in Mexico?
With Day of the Dead?
Yeah.
So, no, that's different. We can talk about Day of the Dead because I have a great deal of respect for Day of the Dead. There is human Day of the Dead, and then there is animal Day of the Dead, which is like pet Day of the Dead before that. So we can do an episode on Day of the Dead.
Okay, that's fine. I mean, it's creepy in its own right. Okay, so this pretty much ended and then was restarted?
So it stopped in the early 20th century because the Christian clergy didn't like it.
Yeah, okay.
But the Victorians did like it. Shocker. And the Victorians, again, like we talked about in our Dickens video, they liked books and they liked poems. And one of those poems was called The Ballad of the Mari Lwyd by an author named Vernon Wilkins, which helped this tradition regain popularity in the world. Now, for any of you who are Dungeons and Dragons players that are watching this video, Mari Lwyd is also a Dungeons and Dragons character now, which my boyfriend was more than happy to
I bet he was.
confirm for me that yes, the Mari Lwyd is in Dungeons and Dragons.
Everything connects here.
Just think about like all of how much of our modern society is routed in these old histories.
No, yeah. I mean, we've all have European and at least a good portion of America's grounded in European folklore, and I'm sure folks from different parts of the globe probably have their own, right?
Yeah.
In Africa, South America, which we know Mexico is Day of the Dead. So yeah, okay, I'll go with that.
So let's talk about we'll talk about when the Mari Lwyd and their party would come visit these houses. That was a Welsh good luck tradition called wassailing.
Is that where the song comes from?
Here we come,
A
a
wassailing
wassailing
along the leaves so green.
Yes, that is a Welsh carol.
Jeez.
That's where it comes from. And this all helped in the origin of caroling as we know it today.
You're learning something here on Nights Around the Fire, friends, how it connects.
Yes.
Is there anything that doesn't connect? That's another topic, I'm sure. Okay, so then what?
Today, they kind of do it. They have the one author that I read had gone to one of these greetings where they had multiple Mari Lwyds dressed up and had the glass eyes in, and they were kind of creepy. And like sometimes the jaw will clack. Like they'll put a mechanism in there so the horse jaw will like clack at you, which is very creepy. But she wrote in the book that she was in one of the pubs in Wales, and the Mari Lwyd party came in and did a lap around the pub, and some people enjoyed it. Some people didn't love the interruption, because you think about it, even in today's modern United Kingdom society, I'm sure there are a lot of people who don't know anything about this tradition.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And
yeah.
probably don't care.
No, but it's making a comeback.
It is. And it's one of those things, like, I've always seen the picture go around on social media, and I didn't know anything about it until I researched it this year. And it's a really fun tradition, especially when you think about, like, the wassail brought on the caroling and brings on the good fortune. And we think of it as the new year, one of those New Year's things that brings good luck to the house in the new year, because it's believed if the Mari Lwyd came to your house, that was good luck. But it's also what we talked about. You're scaring away the evil spirits. So maybe that's where your good luck comes from. If the Mari Lwyd comes, scares off the evil spirits, and that's why you have good luck.
Wow. So let's talk a little bit about the evil spirits. I mean, we deal with this a lot here, or maybe not enough. As you mentioned, you have on a Wendigo.
Yes.
We're going to do another video on Wendigo itself. I think on our very first issue of Nights Around the Fire, our very first video, we mentioned it in Ashley's video about missing 411. People go missing in national parks. And of course, some of this goes from the legend of the Wendigo.
Yeah.
Which is a spirit.
It's a spirit, and I want to be careful to say that we are speaking of the Wendigo in an educated sense. We are not mocking the Wendigo. We're not doing anything like that. So I want to make sure that there are some people that are very superstitious about the way that you speak of the Wendigo, and we are speaking of the Wendigo in the educated sense.
Yeah, you're talking like a lot of Native Americans, where this legend actually began.
Right, because it is a Native American spirit. It does go that far back that the Native Americans believed in it. And if you read the Stephen King books, Stephen King is always talking about the Native Americans believed that land was soured, especially in Pet Sematary, which is one of my favorite King books, that they did not want that land because the land was soured by the Wendigo.
So we're talking about, again, folklore here. And in some cases, a legend. But when we talk evil spirits, we talk Wendigo, we talk a lot of things. Basically, when these traditions were happening, there was probably more to it than we want our crops to grow, and we want someone who, not to have anybody take one of the lives of our family members. But do you think there was more to this as well? As far as the fact that what roams the uninhabited places of Earth, of these dark lands.
We kind of talked about that with Lake Lanier. Like, were people just scared of things, and that was their way of telling the kids, don't go out there. You don't know what kind of evil spirits are going to get you. You don't know what's out there in the dark. You don't know what's out there, because the dark is scary. It's when you're surrounded by that dark, and it's scary. So I'm sure that they were just as afraid of the dark as we can be.
Yeah, I'm sure. And I've always believed so that there was, especially in the Dark Ages, I do believe that maybe those evil spirits did exist, and maybe they had free roam of the earth at that time.
That's maybe it's possible.
And until really Christendom came and sort of, and it is an analogy to make that a lot of this stuff was sort of, you didn't hear of the same things going on that you did 3,000-4,000 years ago. But it doesn't mean I don't believe that there still is any type of evil spirit that's still roaming our earth. I believe there are.
Yeah, I don't know. I've always been a person, I don't know that I believe in demons per se. I believe that there can be evil spirits. Demons, I don't know about that. Now, Ken, on the other hand, Ken has had some experiences that he does believe in demons.
He's had some face-to-face encounters.
Yeah, he doesn't like to deal in anything demonic.
I think there's probably a fine line in definitions here that I think all of us probably cross back and forth with. So we may never know what the difference is between what someone calls a demon and an evil spirit or a ghost. We may not know. We can clarify when we can, but even Ken, he'll say, I don't deal with certain things. And he doesn't.
Well, look at some of the topics, though, that we talk about here that a lot of people would tell you are evil. Like, people would tell you that the Mari Lwyd is evil. And it was never, there's no evidence that it has any origins in any type of evil spirit or anything like that.
Right.
Just because something looks scary doesn't mean it's evil.
Right. And my point with all that always is that we worry about the things that are harmless, and meanwhile, the thing ready to bite you in the rear end is right behind you.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, we were talking about going out on our Bigfoot hunt, and I said, I'm not worried about Bigfoot. I'm worried about snakes and poison ivy.
Yeah, Sue does not want to go near snakes and poison ivy. And I'm sure probably Ashley's the same way. And bears. Ashley has a really, really big problem with bears. But you don't find anything out unless you go out and investigate.
Right.
You know.
And I don't know that the Mari Lwyd festivals have made it here to the United States yet. But if anybody wants to have one, just send us an email, and I will be first in line to help you out with one Christmas 2026.
So maybe, Sue, that certain person in the Canonsburg chamber that has a business here might also be interested, not just in a Krampus festival, but...
See, that would be
Mari
perfect
Lwyd.
because we could do we don't have to go to houses and bother actual
You don't have
families.
to knock your house down.
No, we could go to the businesses, and we could bring all of the Canonsburg businesses good luck. Maybe we should just take this on ourselves, and next Christmas, you and I will just make a horse's skull, and you can wear a tuxedo, and I'll carry the horse's skull on the stick, and we'll just go around to the businesses and teach them to play the clapping game with us.
If we get arrested, we would need bail money. So we're asking you our subscribers to maybe pitch in to get us out of jail for Lwyd actions in town.
Nice play on words there. I'll make sure to, when we get to that point, I'll make sure to put my Venmo up there.
Yeah. These are meant to be fun. And, here on this channel, what we want to do is attack, no, maybe not attack. We want to take a look at mysteries and legends and myths because they're still a part of our culture.
Yeah.
And have been so through cultures past, and they sort of get handed down, as you mentioned, from person to person, from group to group. Some things change, Doesn't seem Krampus has changed much, though, right?
No, Krampus really hasn't changed much. Krampus is still doing the same thing he was doing 500 years ago.
But it is a festival based on a demon that goes after kids if they're naughty.
If you're bad, if you're good. And it's a good time. It's beginning of January. It's a good time to start that, regiment in your life, in your kids' lives that, we've got 11 months. If you're good all year, you don't have anything to worry about with Krampus. But if you're bad, there's a good chance that Krampus is going to come and put you in the sack.
Right. And that's not what we want here on Nights Around the Fire.
We don't want to hear about any Krampus disappearing.
No, we don't.
I have a very specific list of people who I would be totally fine if Krampus took away, but we won't get into that here.
Because he could take adults too.
He could take adults, so I'll jump over to one of your other channels and give you that list.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, that's a good idea. I have a list myself. I was hoping that they'd be gone here in the New Year's, but they weren't.
I did too. I was kind of hoping Krampus would get on that this past December, but
Well,
they're all still here.
Maybe if we celebrate him here in Canonsburg, he may say, "Hey, listen, I'm going to help those folks out."
Yeah, so next year, let's all up our game and welcome Krampus here to Canonsburg and, do our nice little Krampus run, and then we'll celebrate. We'll get rid of all of the evil spirits with the Mari Lwyd.
There's probably plenty here too.
Well, and with as haunted as Canonsburg is, I am sure that some of those ghosts. So you talked about evil spirits. Let's say this. Maybe they're not necessarily evil, but maybe they're bad people that died, and they're just as bad in death as they were in life.
Well, I don't know. In some cases of people I knew that were bad, death wasn't going to change them.
It's exactly. So
right, folks? Comment if you have a comment about that. Let us know.
How many of those Black Hand Mafia people do you think are still roaming around Canada?
I'm sure.
If I could do something about that guy right there, I'd do it.
Yes. Wow. Yeah. The Black Hand that Sue's mentioning was a mafia-like society here in Canonsburg. They had
We'll do a full episode on them.
We will.
Especially because it ties back into our haunted bookstore story.
Yeah, that's a video. Again, thank you, Sue. A haunted bookstore. Go watch that video. We did some EVP readings and such. Ken, our ghost hunter, basically put it together, and they did talk about the Black Hand, some of these readings. So it's an interesting 45 or 50 minutes. Take a look at that video. Remember, we like to hear from you. We also would like you to subscribe if you enjoy this channel. A like or smash the like button. Squash the like button. Squash it. And share the video.
Krampus will have no issue with you if you go in and click that subscribe button.
He has no issue. Matter of fact, you might get something good in your stocking.
Yep, we will guarantee we will put in a good word for you with Krampus if you squash that like button.
So, okay, Sue. So there's no real Mari Lwyd celebrations in America that we know of.
No, and there's a couple of different wassail traditions in Wales. Is that one of them is going out and doing like the home visits and, going house to house, that type of thing. The other thing, and this sounds really fun, and I actually went so far as to Google it to see if there were any at any of the like local breweries near us, is it's a toast to the trees festival, like a wassail festival that they hold at orchards, and they drink cider and they thank the earth. So like they'll put bread on the trees and thank the trees for the harvest that they gave them and celebrate the year and, just celebrate the earth and what a successful harvest they had and that they've used to make that cider. And it sounds like a lot of fun. Okay.
So what's interesting here is it's also sort of like the Gaia, Mother Earth, not worship so much as honoring Mother Earth that we hear today with the environmental issues.
Right.
And people, where in this case it's specific trees, or I'm sure they can do other things than trees, but they have one for trees, right?
They have one for trees. And one of the Krampus books I read, Krampus came back to like modern day West Virginia, like small town in West Virginia, and like actually was seen by people. Wow. That he was going around house to house. So people started honoring him, and the earth like thanked them. Like they started, like the grass started growing and like the leaves started growing in the middle of December.
Interesting stuff.
It's very interesting. So a lot of this stuff goes back to, thank the earth, celebrate the harvest, which if the earth is dead and you want a good harvest coming up in the next season before spring planting, you're going to spend the dark months.
Well, as fast as environmental regulations are being rolled back, we better start banking something in our environment because it's warming up in a lot of places.
So let's start with one of those wassail ceremonies at one of the anywhere local. I don't care if we're drinking hard cider. I don't care if we're drinking regular. I like both of them.
Well, there's a apple orchard about 2 miles from here.
that could be our fall thing next year. We go to that apple orchard. We'll get a few jugs of cider, and we'll put toast in the trees. We'll make toast to the trees, and we'll drink our cider and thank the earth for everything it's done.
Okay, interesting. So what do people, if they want to do some research on this, how much is there out there?
So the wassail ceremonies that, I use the word ceremonies, but the wassail festivals that go out to the orchards and actually thank the trees, that really has not made it here to the U.S. And I guess the pandemic stopped a lot of those.
Sure.
So there is a lot that you can look at on YouTube. There's a really good PBS documentary that I watched on the Mari Lwyd out there on YouTube. That Dead of Winter book that I've referenced over our last few episodes, that's an excellent source of information on the topic as well as historical background as far back as we can go historically on them. So if you're interested in these topics, you just have to do a few quick Google searches and you'll be able to pull yourself up. Mari Lwyd's got a lot on YouTube. If you really want to see the horses and get an idea for some of the games that were played, you can really get an idea.
You know, we might be starting a whole new trend to having a Mari Lwyd Day on Saturday night for people. Games and have a horse, dead horse's head.
We can have multiple. We don't just have to have one. Like lots of
Yeah.
people. If you want to
They can
make a
do it.
horse's head, we could. Yeah, maybe that should be our thing for the end of the year, beginning of next year. We start festivals.
Right. I mean, we love festivals. We can
do.
start them. Hey, nope, I'm going to the Mari Lwyd Festival Saturday night. You guys want to come? It's out at the orchard.
I'm gonna go sit in the orchard and drink cider, and put bread on the trees. So whoever wants to come with me.
Hopefully it's doesn't conflict with some more evil groups having their own festivals out in the woods. Okay, so you might want to check local listings.
Everybody likes cider. We'll just share the cider with them, and the Mari Lwyds will scare them away. So it'll be fine. We don't have anything to
Wow.
worry about.
So yeah, I'm not going to look at these these horses the same anymore. Those horses' heads and the rocker horses and.
There's a big meme that goes around on Facebook at Christmas time that says it's Christmas, and then you look at like the trees and the stockings and everything like that, and then the Welsh, Mari Lwyd, what? Mari Lwyd, and it's the picture of the horse's head. So it's a completely different take.
So now you'll know what that means.
Yeah, when you see that, you will understand the origins behind it.
We're here to educate, entertain, and other things that sometimes we can and can't
we
do.
can't explain sometimes.
Yes. Okay, so listen, please comment. And don't forget to tell us what you think about our channel. We want to hear that as well, and maybe things you want us to do more of. Sue is game. We have, like I mentioned in the last video, we have quite a few on the list, but if something kind of stokes the fire, we'll do it. Mm-hmm. We are going back to Bigfoot.
Actually, next week we're going to go back to Bigfoot. And we're probably, you can give me your opinion. You guys can give me your opinions in the comments. We're either going to do back-to-back Bigfoot videos, or I can break Bigfoot up over the course of 2 weeks with something in the middle.
Okay, yeah, maybe we can do that. We'll talk about it. Again, if you have a comment, you might be the deciding vote.
And so to our friends from Pennsylvania, both of these Bigfoot stories that we're going to talk about in the coming weeks are both based out of Pennsylvania. So we're going to talk about one next week that is local here to Washington County. And then we are going to talk about one that is up in the coolest area in the state, I think. It's up at the Kinzua Bridge in the Allegheny National Forest.
Wow, yes. Yes. That's a rural area.
It's a rural area, but I don't know if the bridge walk is open. I think they might have closed it for refurbishment for a couple of years, but that is a really cool place to go visit.
And who knows what's in those woods?
Well,
We're gonna find
there's
out.
a lot. Yeah, we're going to talk about that. It's a very squatchy area.
Very squatchy area. And I know we are going to get Ken back on for the series, the next 3 most haunted places in the Pittsburgh area. Unless he might go a little farther out. I think he's pretty much stays in the Pittsburgh area. And we're going to give you that rundown. I'm sure that the first 3 are very, very, very interesting.
It's very interesting, and we are going to go still in the Pittsburgh area, but a little further out. We're going to head to Greene County. We're going to do some episodes on Greene County in the upcoming months, and we're hopefully going to get out and do some ghost hunting down in the Greene County area.
There is plenty to say about Greene County. I did read a book, and I'm reading a book now, and basically it has been said that, because last week we said that Greene County is the most haunted county in Pennsylvania. It's considered the most haunted county in the United States.
Really? I
Yes.
hadn't heard it go that far.
And every type of creature you know has been seen there and documented there.
So I need to follow up because a friend of mine who is a regular watcher here of the channel, she wrote an article on Bigfoot in Greene County for the Greene scene a couple of years ago. I didn't have any luck getting in touch with the guy to come talk to us on the podcast, but we'll get somebody to come talk to us about Bigfoot.
Yeah, I know we have a few folks in mind. We had one guy we basically have to kind of reschedule, but there's a lot, and I think it's good for us to talk here and go by what people have done research-wise, but it's always good to get somebody who's seen things firsthand, like Ken with ghosts.
Yes.
We got a Bigfoot, UFO. We're going to talk to a guy from MUFON, I hope, on our list. And again, Sue has a whole range of other things. We're going to talk about the Wendigo. We can go through all kind of Native American legends. There's plenty of topics.
Yeah, and actually, as I was researching Bigfoot this week, YouTube kept telling me about the Smoky Mountains Bigfoot. And there is honestly just so much in the Smoky Mountains that I was just not ready to go down that particular trail just yet.
I've done a little research on the Smoky Mountains just in passing, nothing that I wrote down, and that place is terrifying. The things that are seen there, the things that happen there, disappearances there are unbelievable. And I think that might be maybe a good time we go back to Missing 411. And of course, Missing 411 is a series of books that deal with people that have gone missing in national parks. A lot of them. Undocumented. They won't document them and let anybody know.
That's an interesting topic to dig into because when I read David Paulides' books a few years ago, I devoured them and just thought they were fascinating. And some of the cases we've gone through and done some more research on, and some of them are weird, and some of them are, I don't want to say getting close to being solved, but some of them really have some new twists out there that are showing that maybe they weren't as paranormal as we thought they were, but you never know.
Yeah, someone I think had a video on that. What percentage of these happenings are paranormal?
But there are so many, there are so many people that go missing, not even in necessarily in national parks, but in the woods, in the wilderness. There's got to be something about Bigfoot. Bigfoot's got to be responsible for at least like 3 of them.
At least 3.
Yeah.
Over
the course of history, at least 3.
I guess the Wendigo might have quite a few to his...
We're going to give him like 40.
Yeah, I think Wendigo definitely is another terrifying supernatural creature that... and again, you can see a lot of these on YouTube that are stories, but it gives you some insight as to what the folklore is.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, there are some people that really swear by that they've had Wendigo experiences out there. Just as many people swear by Bigfoot.
Yeah, and those things we'll never know. But the truth is, numbers don't lie. When you do math and you realize that there's always going to be different categories, right? You're always going to have the ones that are close to being solved, or maybe you can figure out what happened to somebody, but then there's always that solid number that are without explanation. And same with Bigfoot. There's always those people that say they've seen Bigfoot, and out of those, maybe not all of them are 100% accurate. Bear, we always say bear because that's what everybody uses. Bear, what you have, but we know that how many of those are the real deal.
Yeah. And you think about how many people have had experience with ghosts, how many people have had experiences with Bigfoot, how many of them are just so similar. And that's always been what I've said about ghosts. Like, I believe in ghosts because so many people have had, across the world for however many years, have had the same experiences. Yeah. And for that many people to have had that type of experience, like, it can't possibly be that many people making up a story. The same story.
Right. And, I tell a story of myself because some folks will say, well, there's no such thing as a spirit. Nothing happens. There's a lot of people that are in that total denial, I would say. But my sister passed many years ago, and I was the night of her funeral, or the night of the first part of the wake, I was up in my house on my couch alone downstairs, and my dog, Sparky at that time, was with me. No, it was Hunter. Hunter was with me, and it was like 2 o'clock in the morning. I really couldn't sleep. I had the TV off, and I was just kind of laying there. And what did I hear? I heard noise, and my dog started barking at the ceiling. And all of a sudden, I heard David, my sister's voice. The dog kept barking. David. And this could have taken place about 45, 50 minutes. The folks sleeping upstairs, my wife and daughter, and they heard the dog barking. And they just heard that after the fact. But I can tell you that I believe that was my sister.
Maybe we should do an episode where we just tell our own paranormal experiences.
Yeah, we can.
You've had that with your sister. I've had that with my mom. So I think maybe we should do a personal ghost stories video.
Yes. And you folks out there in YouTube land, if you have a story that you'd like us to tell, send it to us, comment, put the comment in, and we'll talk about it on air here because, again, we want to hear from people who've had those experiences and feel that it was important enough, that it was solid enough that you wouldn't hesitate to tell that to other people.
I'm going to steal from a couple of other podcasts. If you guys want to email us at your stories at strangeworld777@yahoo.com, we will read your stories on air. And if we get enough of them, we'll do one specific episode where we just read user ghost stories.
If you know somebody else that has a story, have them contact us. Have them send us an email. We want as many as we can get.
Bigfoot. So I hit my microphone. Bigfoot stories too.
Right. Well, and if we're going down that road, if you have any type of story, UFO story, Bigfoot story, ghost story, those three, because that's the big three. Let's be honest.
Yeah, those are the trifecta.
And if you're in the Canonsburg area and you're watching this and you have a story or you have something to tell us, maybe we can meet up, have you on camera. If you want to tell a story to some of your kindred spirits, no pun intended there, on the YouTube channel, we'll do that as well.
We'll even meet at one of the establishments in town. We won't make you go sit in the orchards with us.
No orchards.
Drink cider
we
with
can
us.
Take you to the haunted bookstore or to the local tavern.
Yeah, one of them. I'm sure, I know one of the pubs in town does not want to talk about being haunted, which is fine. But one of the other places, there's a bunch of different bars in town. One of them's got to be haunted. There are rumors out there, I don't know if it's still true, that the Canonsburg subway is haunted. And I don't mean like subway system, I mean like the sandwich shop.
Yes, and that's a newer building.
Yeah, but that one's been out there
30 years, give or take.
But that one's been out there for a long time. I don't know if it's still true or not. I stop in there pretty regularly. I'll have to ask the next time I'm in.
Yeah, there's plenty. I mean, that's what's interesting. And by the way, what better place than the pub to tell these stories? Because I'm sure that's where stories have been told for 1,000 years.
And exactly. And you think about it, the Mari Lwyd came to visit the pub. So everybody likes to tell stories at the pub around, a fire or with a nice drink, with a snack, something like that. So we need to maybe take our podcast live to one of the pubs in town, and we could do a live recording with a live studio audience, and everybody can drink cider and have a snack.
Yeah, we'll have a good time with you. Again, don't forget to subscribe to this channel, please. And squatching that like button's a big deal. That's where the algorithm takes hold, and we want to kind of grow the channel. We're going to try to throw more videos out here. Anybody want to talk about Ashley? She is still around. I just had took Sue and Ashley out for a Christmas brunch. We had a good time together, talked about our videos. Ashley has finished her AI video, artificial intelligence, and I think she's going to come here next week to record it. AI is, again, another interesting, broad topic with a lot of people who have different viewpoints of it. Some believe it's demon possessed.
I will say I didn't know where to have dinner with a friend, so I just asked AI where they recommended that we should go. It's, yeah. Yeah,
it takes you out to some orchard.
It did. It's the funniest thing. It told me to take a horse's head to an orchard and put bread in the trees while I drank cider.
Yeah, we just couldn't figure it out. Her boyfriend probably wondering what the heck's going on here.
He was playing Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh, he
with
was
the Mari
busy.
Lwyd.
Yeah, he was busy. Where'd Sue go? I don't know. She went out to meet somebody.
So one thing that I do want to say, we talked about users reaching out to us, is someone did reach out to us with a very nice list of items. And in the next couple of weeks, if it's not, next week is Bigfoot. If it's not the week after that, we will be talking about the Fresno Night Stalkers.
So that's a murder mystery.
No, it's not actually. It's a heartwarming tale about a pair of pants that went out for a walk at night. And you will understand more when we get into the episode.
You'll not hear anything like you hear on this channel. I'm telling you, we have it all.
That's a good one. Thank you to the person who sent that one, because I didn't know anything about that one. So I had a lot of fun researching that one.
And one last thing before we close this out today. I know that you have a murder podcast.
I do.
Which she's going to launch here real soon, her and Dustin.
Yeah, Crime and Corgis. We are on YouTube, so we're soliciting subscribers right now. Our first episode will be out soon. We're finishing the sound editing on it now, and then we just need to go through and plug in some pictures. So join us over there at Crime and Corgis. We're going to focus on true crime stories of preferably Washington County, Pittsburgh area. I'm not opposed to going out of the area, but I'm sure we'll find some from Greene County too.
Yes. Okay. Just remember Crime and Corgis.
Crime and Corgis.
She has corgis. And
stay safe and don't forget to feed your corgis.
That's right. And don't forget, we probably have a lot of things happening this summer. They're going to be on the road. If you have a place in the area that you want us to kind of stoke out, let us know that as well. Creepy places. Let me know where you think there's creepy places, because I'm doing a video on creepy places. That'll be out probably sometime in late January, and we're going to hammer home everything here.
So you should take a drive out to Brownsville, because not only does Brownsville have some abandoned places, Brownsville really likes urban explorers because it brings people into town. So you should get the local metropolis of Brownsville, Pennsylvania, some business.
I've been through there many times, over the bridge. I've been into town a few times. That's the location of the Nemacolin Castle, which is
number
two?
Yeah,
number two on the haunted list.
We should post a list of our haunted places.
We're going to post that list for you. We'll put it up there. And maybe, again, we're talking together here because we want you involved. We can also maybe take a trip to Brownsville to go into Nemacolin Castle.
We definitely can. They offer tours pretty regularly, so we could go in and see the place. Their ghost tours, sometimes they'll have them in the spring. So maybe in May, we'll be able to get out and go to one of their ghost tours.
Or we can go to a regular tour.
Yeah.
Because the ghosts are still there, just not a tour.
Right.
They don't dress up. The ghosts don't dress up for just average people, only for the ghost tour.
Oh, they dress up for Ken.
Well, they did dress up for Ken.
Yeah, they really showed up for Ken. We're jealous.
Well, thanks again for watching. We're going to close it down here. Thank you, Sue. Don't forget, like, subscribe, share. Squatch the like button. Squatch it. And
Krampus will forgive you if you squatch that like button.
We'll put a good word in for Krampus for you. Don't forget to send your comments in and your emails with any information you have for us. And again, we'll see you next time right here on your favorite place in our #1 podcast for paranormal and cryptid entities in Canonsburg. Did I say that right?
You did.
Nights Around the Fire. See you next time.
Bye, guys.
Take care.